Hi, I'm Jill. Welcome to another episode. Today's kind of a little last minute one that I thought of, and I'm going to be doing fried potatoes in the oven. Don't mind the mess. We're remodeling the pantry, which will be in an upcoming video, and a couple other rooms at the time. But anyway, to get to the point, today we're doing fried potatoes in the oven. I know a lot of people say once they get these little sprouts on them, they're no good. I don't believe that's true. I've been eating them for decades and I'm still here. But to each their own. If you prefer not to do it this way, you can do it with brand new potatoes, but waste not, want not. We do a compost. So I'm just going to take my knife and cut around all of this. I've done probably a good 1,000 pounds of potatoes this way because I also can, which will also be in an upcoming video. But here's just a couple. You want to cut that off. You do want to kind of make sure there isn't any green in there. Some people might say I'm wasting doing it this way, but with these kind of potatoes with the sprouts, it's going to be the best way to do it. I don't believe you have to wash the potatoes before you do that because we're going to wash them here in a minute. So we're just going to kind of dice them up. You just kind of want to keep them kind of the same size so when they're in the oven, they're going to bake. At the same time, you're going to get some smaller ones and some bigger ones. Now, with potatoes, you're going to want to wash them. If you don't rinse them, you will end up with some of them being kind of brown or purpley over time. So we're just going to give them a good rinse to get that starch off of them. I already had a few of them going here just so you wouldn't have to watch me peel a million potatoes. I'll bring this back over here now. So they crisp up in the oven. You're going to want to use oil on them. I prefer avocado oil. I'm not affiliated, obviously, with any brand. I just like avocado oil because it's got a flash point of like 525 degrees. We're going to be baking these at 400, so we know we're good to go. If you're wondering what happens with the flash point, is that it'll make it taste funny. If you use a flash point lower than what you're cooking at, it will taste a little bit funny. It kind of throws it off a little bit. Anyway, you can use whatever seasonings you want. I got a few of them here. Some of my favorites is I love garlic powder. Probably use garlic powder a lot more than anybody should, but I love it. Onion powder. That gives it a nice flavor too, especially if not using fresh onions with it. I'm also a huge fan of parsley. Not only does the green make it look pretty, but it does give it a little bit of a flavor too. With the fried potatoes in the oven, huge one of the paprika. Don't be afraid to give that a good coating. You can also use a little turmeric, however you want to call it. It's good for you. Gives it a little bit of flavor. I'm not a huge one for adding salt to my food because anybody can add salt. I know everybody can add pepper too, but I like to give that just a little bit of pepper. If you like it a little bit more spicy, you can also add chili powder and red pepper flakes, but we're going to skip it on this one. Now you got to make sure that you give it a good stir and a good coating, and make sure you get them potatoes coated really good. And we'll make sure you get them all in there and all of them coated really nice like that. Because you got to remember, you added that oil. These are fried potatoes, but in the oven. If you don't get that oil on them, it's just not going to work. I just got a cookie sheet here. I like to save money. I cheap out on a lot of stuff, but I love the parchment paper. We are going to have to flip this a couple times and to make them brown evenly. And to me, not to have that brown crispy part of it stick to it is just worth the few cents in parchment paper. So I just want to do a single layer. Got the oven preheated to 400. I'm going to stick them in there, and in about 10 minutes I'm going to come back and check them, and I'll catch up with you at that time. So it's been about 10-15 minutes at 400 degrees. We're going to go ahead and take them out. We're going to have a fork and a spatula. The fork is to check the density to make sure they're cooking, and we're just going to flip them around a little bit to help them brown. So you can see they're starting to golden. We're just going to poke up in. Even though you try to keep them even, there's going to be bigger ones. So you're going to want to poke a bigger one just to make sure they're cooking. And you can see this, they got a little bit left to go. Nothing wrong with that, but we just want to stir them up just a little bit. Flatten them back out. And since these are taking just a little bit longer, there's nothing wrong with turning that oven up a little bit. I would suggest not going over 420. We're going to chuck this up to 420. But you can see that they are starting to brown a little bit. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to put them back in. We're going to check them in another 10 minutes. And I'll be back to you. So it's been about another 10-15 minutes. We're going to go ahead and take these out. Take a look at them. They're starting to crisp up and brown. You can see that just from the parchment paper. You can see how golden they are. I'm just going to poke one more. Well, they're very tender. They're a little crisp on the outside. I'm happy with this. Turn the oven off. I'm very happy with this, but you can continue to flip and cook these as long as you want to get them as brown as you want. No problem with that. Now, I'm hoping you will like, share, and subscribe. I want to bring more videos to you. I know how to can and food preserve and meal prep, and that's what I really want to bring to you guys. But as you can see, when you do this stuff, it takes a little bit longer, and I just want to know it's worth my time, and I appreciate every minute you spend paying attention, and I hope you learned something today. Thank you.